Imagine you're a deep-sea diver, floating above the black, silent depths of the Baltic Sea. The light from your submersible flickers across the ocean floor, and then something appears. A massive, disc-shaped structure, smooth, metallic, and eerily symmetrical, sitting there, as if it has been waiting for someone to find it. It's cold, ancient, and impossibly out of place. What if the sea itself is hiding proof that we were never alone, or evidence of a forgotten civilization that predates everything we know about human history? Before we dive deeper into this mystery, welcome to Singularity Animations, where we uncover the forgotten, the hidden, and the unexplained. Stories that challenge what we think we know about our world. If mysteries that bend the line between history and science fascinate you, make sure to subscribe, because this one will leave you questioning everything. It was June 19th, 2011. A Swedish diving team called Ocean X, led by Peter Lindberg and Dennis Ahlberg, was scanning the seafloor between Sweden and Finland. They weren't looking for aliens or lost civilizations. They were treasure hunters, searching for a century-old shipwreck carrying cases of vintage champagne. But instead of treasure, they found something that would change their lives forever. The sonar image came first, a circular object about 60 meters wide, sitting 90 meters below the surface. It was perfectly round, with smooth edges and what looked like a tail, a runway-like formation stretching 300 meters behind it. At first, they thought it was just a rock formation, but rocks don't usually look like that. Symmetrical, almost mechanical. Peter Lindberg stared at the sonar screen and said, "This is something I've never seen before. Nature doesn't create perfect circles like that." They marked the coordinates and promised to return. But little did they know, they had just stepped into one of the most debated mysteries in modern maritime history. Weeks later, the Ocean X team descended into the icy waters of the Baltic Sea. Visibility was poor, dark, murky, almost ghost-like. But as they approached the structure, their floodlights illuminated something that shouldn't have been there. It wasn't smooth like metal, but it wasn't jagged like natural stone either. The surface was patterned with what looked like corridors, stair-like structures, and circular engravings. One diver described it as walking through the ruins of an ancient building. Another said it looked like the remains of a massive spaceship, straight out of Star Wars. And then, something even stranger happened. When their cameras and satellite phones got close to the object, they stopped working. Electronic interference, dead batteries, magnetic disturbances, their equipment just died. The moment they swam a few meters away, everything worked again. The divers reported feeling uneasy, as if the ocean itself was pushing back. They had come searching for champagne, but instead, they found a mystery buried beneath centuries of silence. When the first images were released to the public, the world went into a frenzy. The object appeared to have perfect curves, right angles, and even circular patterns that looked artificial. It sat on what looked like a raised platform, like a landing pad or foundation, and the 300-meter runway behind it looked like a skid mark, as if the object had crashed or slid across the seafloor. Conspiracy theories exploded online. Was it a crashed UFO? A Nazi secret weapon lost during World War II? A remnant of Atlantis or an ancient Ice Age civilization? Even scientists couldn't fully agree. Some geologists claimed it was a natural formation, a glacial rock sculpted by ice thousands of years ago, but others pointed out anomalies. The surface wasn't like any known rock in the region. The angles and geometric lines seemed too deliberate. Samples collected from the site contained metallic elements not typical of local seabed composition. One researcher even suggested it might be the remains of a structure that once stood above sea level, hinting at an ancient civilization wiped away by rising waters at the end of the last ice age. By late 2012, the Baltic Sea Anomaly had become a global phenomenon. News outlets compared it to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. YouTube was flooded with theories, and the Ocean X team found themselves at the center of something far larger than a salvage mission. But the deeper they looked, the stranger things became. Diver Stefan Hogborn described touching the object and feeling it buzzing faintly, as if there was an energy beneath the surface. Sonar scans revealed straight corridors and hollow sections inside the structure, as if it wasn't solid rock. And yet, governments, research institutions, and even the Swedish military showed little interest in investigating further, almost as if someone didn't want people to know what it was. When Ocean X tried to organize another full-scale expedition, funding mysteriously dried up. Their sponsors backed out. Peter Lindbergh said, "It feels like something is preventing us from exploring this. I can't explain it, but we're being blocked." There are details about the Baltic Sea Anomaly that most people have never heard about, and they might be the most unsettling of all. The seafloor around the anomaly shows signs of a circular burn pattern, as if the sand and silt were once heated to extreme temperatures. But there's no volcanic activity in the area. Magnetic readings spike dramatically near the object. Some instruments even show compass needles spinning uncontrollably. The object seems to emit weak electromagnetic pulses at irregular intervals. Some divers claim to have felt a low-frequency vibration in their bodies while near it. The formation's material contains unusual metals, including manganese nodules and traces of titanium, that are not common in surrounding seabed rocks. And perhaps the most haunting, sonar mapping reveals that the structure isn't just a disk. It extends downwards, deep into the seabed like a tower or a root system, as if what we see on the surface is only the tip of something much larger buried below. Over the years, countless theories have tried to explain the Baltic Sea Anomaly. Some say it's an ancient temple built by a lost civilization that existed before the last ice age, when parts of the Baltic were still dry land. Others claim it's a downed UFO, resting silently for thousands of years, half buried in silt. A few even suggest it could be a secret military structure, possibly from the Cold War, something abandoned and forgotten after classified experiments. But the strangest theory comes from physicists studying energy anomalies. They suggest that the Baltic Sea Anomaly might be a natural energy conduit, a point where the Earth's magnetic field lines intersect, creating a kind of electromagnetic vortex. If that's true, the interference with electronics, the strange readings, even the divers' feelings of unease all start to make sense. But if that's true, then maybe, just maybe, the structure wasn't built by humans at all. Maybe it's part of the planet itself, something we still don't understand. Every time I think about the Baltic Sea Anomaly, I wonder how many mysteries lie beneath the waves, unseen and unanswered. We spend billions exploring the stars, yet 80% of our oceans remain unmapped, unexplored, untouched. What if our greatest discoveries aren't out there in space, but right here on our own planet, waiting in the dark? Maybe the anomaly is just a rock. Maybe it's the remains of a forgotten past. Or maybe it's a message. A reminder that history is far older, far deeper, and far more mysterious than we dare to believe. For the divers who saw it firsthand, it wasn't just about finding treasure anymore. They talk about that place with reverence, like visiting a grave or a sacred monument. Because once you've seen something that doesn't fit the story of the world you were taught, you can never look at the world the same way again. In 2019, a group of independent researchers reanalyzed the sonar data using modern AI-enhanced imaging. What they found sent chills through the scientific community. Hidden in the data were symmetrical chambers and right-angled tunnels, extending from beneath the main disk, arranged in a pattern resembling honeycombs or circuitry. The precision was mathematical, impossible to be a coincidence of nature. And then came the most stunning discovery. A secondary, smaller object, 200 meters away, aligned perfectly with the first, as if they were part of the same design. Could this mean that the Baltic Sea Anomaly isn't a random relic, but a fragment of a much larger network buried beneath the seabed? If so, what was its purpose? Energy? Communication? Transportation? Or something we don't yet have the words to describe? Whatever it is, it's there, right now, beneath the cold waters of the Baltic, silent, waiting. Maybe one day, technology will allow us to uncover its secrets. Maybe future generations will dive deeper, map further, and finally see what the Baltic Sea has kept hidden for millennia. But until then, it remains one of humanity's greatest unanswered questions, a riddle carved into the ocean floor. A reminder that for all our science, all our satellites, and all our certainty, the Earth still holds secrets we can't explain. And that's the beauty of it. Because as long as mysteries like this exist, so does our wonder. And as long as we keep asking why, we'll never stop discovering who we are. This was Singularity Animations, where we dive beyond the edge of history into the mysteries that define our world. If this story moved you, if it made you wonder, then join us. Hit that subscribe button, and together let's uncover the secrets waiting beneath the surface. Because somewhere, in the cold, dark silence of the deep, something is still waiting to be found.